Okay, host, is the being recorded right now? Recording on?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm calling to order the planning board of the Borough of Carteret for March 27, 2024. Everybody, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
United
republic
States of America.
which it stands
Forward.
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And justice for all.
Okay, sorry, Lauren, can you do roll call, please?
Agliotta,
Here.
Hanson, Brown,
Former Connecticut Senator,
Diaz,
Democratic Vice Presidential nominee.
Here.
Belawarchuk,
Here.
Giuliano,
Here.
Abe, Riar, Singh, Jardine,
Here.
DuPont,
Here.
Curran, I'm here.
Okay, so I guess we have 5 members. We got a quorum, correct?
Yeah.
Correct, we have 5 members.
Okay, Mr. Jardine, can you read the open public meeting notice?
Sure. Good evening, Chairman and board members. This is a regular meeting of the Planning Board of the Borough of Carteret. Notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied in the following manner. At the annual reorganization meeting of the Planning Board, a resolution was adopted setting forth the time, date, and location of each scheduled meeting to be held during the current year. Copies of the annual meetings notice were provided to 2 official newspapers of the borough, and 2 additional copies were forwarded to the clerk of the borough for filing and for posting in a public place. A copy of the annual meetings notice and any revisions thereto shall be mailed to any person who requests it and who pays the fee established by the borough for the purpose of covering the expense of that mailing.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jardine. All right, so today we have no memorialization, so we're going to go right to the agenda. We're just going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to call forward first PB 2403, Borough of Carteret. Who'll be testifying and who'll be representing? Mr. January, are you representing? You're on mute. You're muted.
It's going to be Mr. January.
Okay.
Mr.
Is
January.
that better now?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Yes, I'm representing. So before the board tonight, we actually have 2 documents related to the redevelopment of the former Catholic War veteran site on Carteret Avenue, identified as 391 Carteret Avenue and 100 Jackson Avenue. The first is an area in need of redevelopment study that was completed. The property was qualified under the smart growth criteria, meaning it has infrastructure available and is suitable for redevelopment. It in fact is being redeveloped as we speak, and we're somewhat catching up on the paperwork, but the study before you does qualify it under criterion H of the local redevelopment and housing law, and we're asking the board to vote on whether they agree that this property would qualify as an area in need of redevelopment.
Okay, Mr. Jardine, do you have any comments or questions on this one?
No, we've certainly done these before, and this is just an area in need of study. I assume all the board members have received the study itself, and
Yes.
which demonstrates how it meets the criteria.
Yeah, Mr. DuPont, you have anything to add?
No, we worked with Beacon Planning on this. No problems at all. Mr. January was accurate and had no issues.
Okay, any board members have any questions? All right, Mr. Jardine, we open to the public, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, any motion to open to the public?
It is so moved. Mrs. Diaz.
Motion to open to the public.
Okay, Mr. Brown seconds it. Okay, does anybody in the public have any comments or questions on PB 2403 Borough of Carteret redevelopment plan? Please unmute yourself or come forward. Okay. One more time. Anybody in the public have any comments or questions on PB 2403 Borough of Carteret redevelopment plan? Please step forward. Okay, hearing none, seeing none, any motion to close to the public?
Chairman, just a quick
Motion
question.
to close. Motion to close.
Sure, hold on, Mr. Diaz, go
Second.
ahead.
Chairman, just to verify, anybody that's calling in, are they using WebEx or are they calling the teleconference number?
Host, is there anybody in teleconference number that is on hold right now? What do they need to do? Is it,
Generally on the
pound?
teleconference, if the only individuals are the board members that are allowed to speak, then they have to hit *5 in order to notify the operator that they want to speak.
Okay. Anybody? Okay. Well, before we close, anybody that's on the phone and wants to testify or ask questions, not testify, sorry, ask questions on PB 2403 Borough of Carteret redevelopment plan, please. Was it pound and F pound and
*5.
five?
*5.
Sorry.
Star
*5.
Operator, is there anyone in queue?
No, sir.
All right. Hearing none, move to close.
Who seconds it?
Motion to close.
Okay. Now, Mr. Jerry, you don't have to form a motion. We just do a roll call vote on this, correct? To approve or not approve?
That's correct. Yeah, we need a roll call vote on it.
Okay, I need a roll call to approve PB 2403. Who's
Aye.
on the
So
floor?
Is it,
I'm sorry.
the
Diaz,
motion
it
is
is
that,
so
yeah, the motion is that you agree that that this qualifies as these properties qualify as an area in need of redevelopment.
Okay, yes, Mr. Diaz,
Move that second.
moves.
yeah, he's so moved. And I think Mr. Brown seconded. Hold the board, please.
Agliata,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Ilawarchuk,
Yes.
Giuliano,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Dupont.
Yes.
It's been approved.
Okay, now we're gonna go to PB 2401 R&L Food Distributors LLC.
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman, I'm
Yes.
sorry, we have one more matter related to the Carteret Avenue redevelopment, and this one was contingent on the first portion
Oh,
passing.
okay, I'm
And
sorry.
it'll
I
be
didn't-
brief.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so the second point of the application was if the board is in agreement that it qualifies, we have circulated a redevelopment plan. The council has indicated so that if this were to pass and were to be recommended as an area in need of redevelopment, they authorize the preparation. We did that, and we've submitted a copy of a redevelopment plan. This is again for multifamily housing on the CWV site. That plan was circulated, and we'd ask the board to review and refer this plan back to the council for adoption as ordinance.
Okay, so I need a motion to forward this to council. Is that correct, Mr. Jardine?
Yeah, well, you're recommending the adoption of this redevelopment plan.
Okay. Need a motion to approve this
Recommend to the
recommendation
council
forward
that they,
to the council.
Right.
Forward it to the council.
Right. correct.
It is so moved.
Motion to forward.
Okay.
Second.
So Mr. Diaz and Mr. Brown. Okay, pull the board, Lauren, please.
Agliata,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ilawarchuk,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Giuliano,
Yes.
Dupont.
Yes.
It's been approved.
Okay,
you very much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mr. Jones. That's it, correct?
That's it.
Okay. All right, now I'm calling PB 2401 R&L Foods Distributors LLC. Please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me? Bob Smith.
Yes, yes, I can.
All right, if I can enter my appearance, Bob Smith, I'm a licensed attorney in the state of New Jersey. I'm here tonight representing R&L Food Distributors for a property known as Block 2706, Lot 1, also commonly known as 110 Minu Street in Carteret. We're here tonight seeking site plan approval with bulk variances and waivers. And you should know that there's an existing building here. To the best that we can tell, this existing building, which is empty, it is 72,443 square feet. We are proposing to reduce the size to 61,471 square feet. And we are putting in as the new use a kosher food distributor. The building, to the best that we can tell, was built somewhere between 1954 and 57, and it's greatly in need of renovation and a nice new appearance. And most especially, we've tried to be very sensitive to the view from the turnpike. The mayor, as always, is concerned about what passersby in Carteret see only the best of Carteret. So we've tried to be particularly sensitive to that. It's my intention, Mr. Chairman, to call 4 witnesses tonight. They are James Henry, who is our licensed professional engineer, Kevin Savage, who's our traffic expert, Chuck Dietz, who is our architect, and then finally Justin Osceola, who is our licensed professional planner. We will try to be as expeditious and succinct as possible, but obviously, of course, we want to get certain things in the record. So with that being said, I'd ask that Mr. James Henry be called and sworn, our engineer, so that he can testify.
Okay, Mr. Journey, can you swear him in, please?
Yes, Mr. Henry, will you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Henry, for the record, by whom are you employed and in what capacity?
Dynamic Engineering Consultants, PC, and I'm employed as a senior principal at the firm.
All right, have you been recently accepted as a PE by the Carteret Planning Board?
Yes, about 4 or 5 years ago, I worked on the Duncan application.
All right, could you do a 30-second, no longer, just background on your credentials?
Sure. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering from Rutgers University with a minor in Public Planning. I have a Master's of Science in Civil Engineering from Rutgers University as well. I'm a licensed professional engineer in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, as well as New York. I'm also a licensed professional planner, and I did that by way of test. I'm a senior principal at Dynamic Engineering, and I've been employed there for over 18 years. And I've worked on a number of industrial projects similar to this throughout the state. I've been accepted as an expert in civil engineering by over 100 municipal boards throughout New Jersey, including the one, a few years ago for the Duncan.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'd ask that Mr. Henry be accepted as a licensed PE in the state of New Jersey.
Okay, Mr. Jardine, do you have any objections?
I have no objection, Chairman.
Okay, neither do I. Proceed.
Okay, Mr. Henry, would you describe for the board our existing conditions and surrounding land uses, and then if you would, our proposal before the board tonight?
Sure. I'm just going to share my screen so everyone can see it. The first exhibit is going to be an aerial map exhibit, and it's going to be dated March 27th, 2024, prepared by Dynamic Engineering. Let me know if everyone can see the screen.
Yes, and these are this was submitted with your package, correct? What we're looking
Yes.
at now?
Yes, the aerial map exhibit, I believe, was submitted, yes, and as well as the site plan rendering, which are the 2 exhibits I'm going to be showing.
Okay.
So the aerial map exhibit, in the center of the exhibit, you can see highlighted in yellow is the property in question. You can see, as Mr. Smith had mentioned, we're immediately adjacent to the New Jersey Turnpike. The property ID is identified as Block 2706, Lot 1. It's located at 110 Minute Street and Broward Avenue. The lot is oversized for the zone, where it's approximately 155,000 square foot, whereas 40,000 square feet is existing or is allowed by the zone. It's a fairly rectangular lot, a little bit obtuse, with 2 frontages, one on Broward and one on Minute Street. Obviously, based on that, because it has 2 frontages, it will have 2 front yard setbacks. It's located within the LI industrial zone. As you can see, surrounding use are, somewhat industrial or warehouse type uses. And then the Manu Street and beyond that, New Jersey Turnpike is just beyond that. The warehouse that's on site, as Mr. Smith had mentioned, is a permitted use. It's an existing use that's been there for a long time. Looking at historical aerials, it's been there from since at least 1957. It was installed right around the same time as the Turnpike. There is an existing billboard on top of the existing building that I'll refer to on our survey. On the front.
Which we're not seeking to continue, correct, Mr. Henry?
Right. So the billboard is going to be removed as part of this application, but there is a billboard out there, and we're going to be cleaning up the the site by removing it.
Okay. Would you convey to the board the hours of operation for this food distribution facility, the number of employees, and any kind of traffic you think would be coming in and out during the day?
Sure. Just want to go over the existing conditions first, if I can.
Okay. Sure. Go ahead.
So existing conditions, there's 3 small loading docks at the northwesterly corner of the site. That, under existing conditions, as I think was mentioned by the engineer, this is kind of back pitched into the building, and there was a ponding water, which we're going to address with our redevelopment. So there's an existing 3 loading docks out there. There is an asphalt area which has parking on the north side of the building, and then there is additional parking areas on the north side as well as the south side of the building. There is an access off New Street, in which there is a cross-access easement with the adjacent property, Lot 2, and then there's also 2 existing driveways to the passenger vehicle areas, and then there's one to the loading docks at the northeasterly corner of the property. From a building coverage standpoint, the building coverage under existing conditions is 46%. What's allowed is 50%. The existing building, I believe, complies from a parking perspective. And then as far as the proposed conditions, moving ahead to the site plan rendering, and this is a site plan rendering dated March 27th, 2024, prepared by Dynamic Engineering. And what we're looking to do is more or less reduce the warehouse that's on site in order to construct some additional loading bays on the south side of the building. And we'll be reducing the overall square footage on site from approximately 72,000 to 61,747 square feet, where approximately 58,900 will be used for warehouse and approximately 2,500 square feet for office space. And our architect will get into the breakdown of the interior layout. From a bulk standards standpoint, we're mostly maintaining existing conditions or improving them. There is an existing rear yard setback, 4.8 feet, which is in the corner, which is an existing condition, which is going to be maintained under the proposed conditions. We are cutting back the building also a little bit at the northeasterly corner of the site, primarily to allow for proper loading docks and also to regrade this area to have proper drainage. The parcel size is to remain the same, 3.5 acres, really no change. As far as building height, the building height is changing slightly. Because we are cutting back the building, or it's really being maintained, but it's changing because the front part of the building is being cut back to add the loading docks on the south side of the building, and that building height is approximately 24 feet. The building coverage is improving because we're reducing the square footage of the overall building, so it's improving to roughly about 40% down to 39.4, which is improved over existing conditions. We are also reducing the impervious coverage on the impervious coverage on site from 74% down to 72.7. Existing topography is generally being maintained. From a parking perspective, as I mentioned earlier, there was some existing parking along Briley Street, which was fairly close to the intersection. So what we are looking to do is basically relocate the parking area further away from the intersection, which I think is, good planning idea, and propose limited only one driveway from the passenger parking area, and then keep maintaining the existing loading driveway, which is existing at the northeasterly corner of the site. From a parking perspective, we are proposing 9 by 18 parking stalls, and we're proposing and 24 spaces are required and 24 spaces are proposed, so we're compliant from a parking perspective. The access to Manu Street is really not changing. The driveway is staying where it is. We're reconfiguring this area a little bit, primarily just to maintain safe circulation for the loading docks, which are being proposed. And then there's 5 parking spots and 4 parking spots near the loading dock area, and that's primarily going to be used for employees who will primarily work in that loading dock area. From an operational standpoint, we're anticipating approximately 20 to 22 overall employees daily, with 2 work shifts, one from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. and the other from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So overall, the hours will be approximately from 5 a.m. till 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Tractor trailer deliveries, there are 2 tractor trailer loading docks on the south side of the building. We're anticipating that tractor trailers are expected only approximately 2 times per week. And then there will be 6 box trucks, which will be used for deliveries. And those box trucks will utilize the smaller loading docks, which are approximately 45 foot, as well as the additional 4 loading docks that are up at the northeasterly corner of the site. During overnight, those box trucks are going to be parked in the loading docks, so there's no real reason to propose any additional parking for the box trucks. We are compliant from a loading perspective. I think 2 are required and 11 are proposed. From a trash perspective, we're anticipating trash to be stored inside the building with minimal trash generation for the site, as well as cardboard. The cardboard and trash will be loaded through the loading docks and will be stored internal to the building. From a stormwater management perspective, I mentioned we are reducing impervious coverage. We are modifying some of the drainage in the corner over here to basically provide a trench drain and provide some positive drainage to this loading dock area, which often does pond under existing conditions. From a utility perspective, we're maintaining existing utilities. We're not really anticipating much of a change from the utility perspective. From a lighting, we are adding a number of light poles throughout the site in order to provide safe illumination. They are going to be LED downward-facing full cutoff lights, and we're proposing approximately 6 single head pole-mounted lights and 1 back-to-back pole-mounted light, as well as 1 double head 90-degree. As from a building wall-mounted lighting perspective, we are adding approximately 14 lights on the building in order to provide safe illumination. They are all going to be LED, and they will be on in order to ensure safety. From a landscaping perspective, you can see on the plan, we're proposing a significant amount of landscaping. We're really focused on trying to provide a nice overall buffer, not from Manu Street. As Mr. Smith had mentioned, we want to provide a nice thick buffer. We're proposing a fence along Manu Street as well in order to buffer the loading docks from the turnpike. We are also proposing an evergreen row as well as some shade trees along Manu Street in order to properly buffer this area. And then the area that we want to be visible is really the corner of the building where you'll see from the architecturals, this is really the nicer looking. It's got a lot of windows and really is really a aesthetically pleasing kind of building frontage, which I think will mix in well with the area. We are also proposing a good amount of landscaping along Bryla that doesn't exist today, which will really, as you're driving along Manu Street, also as well as the turnpike, you'll see a good amount of landscaping that isn't there today and really kind of give it more of a park-like feature. Overall, we're proposing 81 total trees. 16 of them are shade trees, 12 are ornamental, and 53 are evergreen trees. We're proposing 156 shrubs, 31 ornamental grasses, and overall we're proposing 270 overall plantings that don't exist there today. There are a few variances that are required. There is a billboard variance, which we are removing. There's a minimum 10-foot buffer planting strip to separate parking areas from the street right away. As I mentioned, the existing parking is almost directly adjacent to the right of way along Bryla Street. We're pulling it back and adding a nice landscape buffer, but we still don't comply with the ordinance requirement. So I think by pulling it back away from the intersection and then also providing a nice landscape buffer, we're mitigating the variance for that situation. At all intersections, the curb radius shall be 30 feet. There are a couple areas where we are a little bit less than that, and that's primarily in areas, circulation areas, where there is additional pavement. So I believe we're meeting the intent in order to provide safe circulation through this area. There are no parking spaces located within the required buffer area or within the required front yard. As I mentioned, that was an existing condition under with the building. We are pulling back and really buffering the front yard a lot more than what had existed previously. So we're really reducing the amount of parking that's in the front yard and adding additional landscaping to screen the building and parking areas and loading areas. From a loading dock perspective, there's also a variance required for 90-degree loading, must measure 60 foot in length. And as we mentioned, these loading docks are a little bit shorter, primarily because they're designed for box trucks. And then there's one additional variance, which is an existing condition, which is the one-way operation of the drive aisle shall be 14 to 34 feet. The dimension shall range for two-way operation from 25 to 46. The current driveways do not comply, which is primarily in this area, which, as I mentioned, the loading docks, there's a little bit of a wider area here in order to provide for safe circulation. And then just going into, I think there was a comment from the engineer just as far as circulation. We have here, which is sheet 13 of the plan set, which shows a tractor trailer, a WB67, circulating into the site. The tractor trailer would come in, pull ahead, pull back, and then come up here and then back into one of the two WB67 loading docks. And then from a SU30 perspective, you know, it's much easier to get in, you pull up, and then back right into each of the loading docks. So there's obviously adequate space on the bottom of the building as well for the SU30s. From a signage perspective, we are proposing a new sign. We're removing the existing sign that's on site. The sign that's out there is not located in the easement. We are proposing a new freestanding sign for our business at the intersection. We located it in a way so it's outside the site triangle, and we are compliant from a signage perspective, all the sign requirements. So I think it's good that we're compliant with everything. The overall signage is going to be approximately 100 square feet, which is allowable by the ordinance. Overall, I try to weave in both the planner's comments as well as the engineer's comments into my testimony, but I'm willing to answer any of the questions they might have. But overall, I think this is a significant improvement over what's out there today. I think from the turnpike, it's really going to be a great improvement. You're going to see a lot more greenery. And then aesthetically, our architect hasn't testified yet, but you'll see aesthetically the building is really being upgraded. It's kind of at the end of its useful life, being that it was constructed in the 1950s. And it will really be upgraded by the developer and really aesthetically improved.
Great. So, James, if you would, just for the record, you've had an opportunity to review the review memorandum from John DuPont dated March the 26th, 2024.
Yes.
Is that true? Okay. And Mr. DuPont had 9 items listed there, 1 or 2 of which were requiring some testimony, which we provided. The other were requests for some additional details, etc. Do we agree with all of the requests of Mr. DuPont in that memo?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And just to summarize what we're asking for, there were existing variances and waiver relief. There's 3 items. For minimum rear yard setback where 50 feet is required and 4.8 feet is presently existing. Number 2, where at all intersections, the minimum curb radii shall be 30 feet and the existing radii is non-conforming. And then number 3, where the maximum minimum required dimensions for a one-way operation driveway are 14 to 34 feet respectively, and the maximum minimum required dimensions for a two-way operation are 24 to 46 respectively, and our existing dimensions don't quite conform. Those are existing waivers and existing variances, which we are just reconfirming. And in terms of anything new, the first new variance is where no parking spaces shall be located in any required buffer area or in a required front yard, and no loading space shall be permitted in a required buffer area or in any front yard, and proposed are parking spaces and loading spaces located in the front yard due to the nature of the property as a corner lot. Number 2, for the dimension of off-street loading spaces. And then number 3, where a minimum 10-foot buffer planted strip shall separate parking areas from the street right-of-way line, and non-conforming planting is proposed. And each of those items you've addressed in your testimony. Is there anything further you need to say about them?
No.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so our engineer is open for questions.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of information there. All right, Mr. Dupont, do you have any questions you want to ask of this witness?
No, Mr. Chairman. So we've been working with the applicant on the plan, a couple iterations of it. They've done a real good job. Clearly an improvement from an engineering standpoint. And if he's complying with my entire memo, we had a couple things in there like we want operation and maintenance manuals for the stormwater. We wanted to confirm that there's no site triangle issues with the landscaping. I think we confirmed that. This really kind of made just typical things. One more thing for the architect, but for the engineer, I think he's addressed all our comments, and it's a really pretty good plan.
Okay, Mr. John, you have anything to add about any questions from this witness?
Yes, 2 points for Jim. Jim, we reviewed the requirements for an EV parking space, and it looks like this, under the requirements for preliminary site plan, would require the provision of one EV space. Is that an issue?
No, we can add one. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Thank you. Second question I have is related to the cross-access easement with the property joining it. So you're essentially modifying the way that easement crosses the property. Looking just comparative, the existing easement seems to have a little bit more of a curvature to it to allow larger vehicles to access the property. It looks like it's been straightened out. So has the modification to the easement been reviewed with the neighbor?
It has not, but it's acceptable to us. Either we leave it existing, because I think that whole area is paved. That was under the previous easement, if that's what they would prefer. We just figured it would be better to just follow the curb line. That's why we straightened it out. But if they need a little bit wider swath, we're willing to do that. So
yeah, and John, please feel free to jump in here. But I think that property historically has been serviced with larger vehicles, tractor trailers. It was a crane rental operation. I just want to make sure that there's no issues in terms of limiting access to that property.
Yeah, totally agree. The only thing we thought, and we talked about with Dynamic early on, was the commingling too with the traffic, right? So you have box trucks and tractor trailers, our site, then you do have larger vehicles going to that site plus passenger cars. So the whole entire area is paved. I think they did a good job giving enough room for the movements. And they can either keep that easement the same or modify it, but there's definitely going to be larger tractor trailers using that old Amquip site for sure.
Yeah, and my only point is at least have the discussion with them, because you don't want something where there's a dispute because they're not following the strict, call it, limitations of what that easement is, and if they're crossing over and whatever. It's
a good point. It's a good point. Mr. Smith should probably make that happen.
Absolutely. We'll make sure that the neighbor has been fully consulted and is in agreement either with the revision of the easement or keeping the existing.
That's fine. That's fine. And I believe that's all I have for this witness. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Jardine, do you have any questions for this witness?
Chairman, if I could just get one clarification as I was writing down notes.
Mr. Henry say on the freestanding signage, 100 square feet or 150 square feet? I didn't quite hear it.
Yeah, I believe it's 100 square feet what we're proposing, and that's permitted by the ordinance.
Thank you. That's it, Chairman.
Okay, does any board members have any questions of this witness?
Actually, if I could chime in, this is Chuck Dietz. The sign is a two-sided sign, 75 square feet per
Okay,
side.
okay. Who are
On the
are you?
architect.
Yeah, I actually
Okay.
misspoke. I was written-
Hold on.
Chuck,
Yeah, you have to be sworn in for the first before you
Yeah.
give any testimony.
Okay.
I'll
It's part-
testify because it's 75
I was asking for my board members to have any questions.
I just want to clarify. It's 75 square
No.
feet per side on the signage, and it's 150 square feet total. I apologize.
That's what
I
I
had
thought.
I had a typo in my outline.
Okay. All right. So no board members have any questions? All right, Mr. Smith, proceed with your next witness, please.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, our next witness is Kevin Savage, our traffic expert. I'd ask that he be called and sworn so he can testify.
Okay, Mr. Jerry, would you swear him in, please?
Yes. Do we see him anywhere?
Yeah, I'm here, Mr. Jardim.
Oh. Okay, sorry for a second. There you go. Mr. Savage, will you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Savage, for the record, by whom are you employed and in what capacity?
I am a principal at Dynamic Traffic.
Okay, and have you been recently accepted by this board? And if not, how about a very brief recitation of your credentials?
Sure. I have not been accepted by this board previously. I have a Bachelor's of Science degree in Civil Engineering from Rutgers University, a Master's of Science degree in Civil Engineering from the University of Texas at Austin. I'm a licensed professional engineer in New Jersey and 6 other states. And I've previously testified as a traffic engineer before other planning and zoning boards throughout the state.
Terrific. I'd ask that he be accepted as a traffic expert, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Jerry, had any objections?
No objection, Chairman.
Okay, neither do I. Proceed.
Okay. In preparation for the application that's before the board tonight, did you have occasion to study this site?
Yes.
right.
Our office prepared a, sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, our office prepared a traffic impact and parking assessment that was last revised March 13th, 2024. That was submitted to the board. There were just 3 items from that, conclusions from that report that I wanted to highlight as part of my testimony.
Please do so.
First, in terms of the trip generation, as Mr. Henry mentioned, this is a slight reduction in square footage versus the existing building on site. So therefore, from a trip generation perspective, we anticipate a slight reduction in trip generation to this proposed facility versus what could have been generated by a fully occupied building on site of the previous square footage. The total trips that we're seeing for this site is anticipated to be minimal, and we don't expect any perceptible nor significant impact on the traffic operation of the adjacent roadway network. In terms of parking, as was mentioned previously, the development is supported by 24 parking spaces and 11 loading spaces. The borough ordinance sets forth a parking requirement of 1 parking space per 5,000 square feet for warehouse uses and 4.5 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet for office uses. Using the combination of warehouse and office within the building, that equates to a total parking requirement of 24 spaces, which is met as with this site plan. The proposed parking stalls are 9 feet by 18 feet, which also meets the ordinance requirement. Lastly, as was just discussed with the cross access, with lot 2 to the south of this site, we actually had the opportunity to take some traffic counts of the volumes, coming to and from that site. Those volumes are very low, and as was explained by Mr. Henry, we anticipate pretty minimal truck traffic from this facility. So, given the minimal existing volumes and the minimal truck traffic, we anticipate that cross access will continue to operate safely and efficiently with the redevelopment of the site.
Great. Any other issues you want to bring up or any other comments you want to make?
No.
All right. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Savage is available for questions.
Okay, Mr. Dupont, does he have anything you need to answer on your letter, this witness?
Well, not in my letter, but I just want to clarify that the adjacent site right now is being underutilized. So we anticipate when Amcook was in there and fully operational, there's significantly more traffic, and there will be more traffic at that site. Not that I think it'll be an issue, but the very low volumes now, I don't think it'll be the future.
Okay, Mr. Jardine, you have any questions of this witness?
No, Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Johnny, what about you? You have any questions?
No question, Mr. Chairman.
Any board members have any questions of this witness? All right, hearing none, Mr. Smith, please proceed with your next witness, please.
Okay, our next witness is our architect, Chuck Dietz. I'd ask that he be called and sworn so that he can give testimony.
And Mr. Dietz, do you swear the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Dietz, by whom are you employed and in what capacity?
Charles P. Dietz, D-I-E-T-Z, the Dietz Partnership LLC. I'm the managing member of the firm, and I am a licensed practicing architect in the state of New Jersey for the past 35 years.
Okay, and have you ever been accepted by this board?
It was a very long time ago, but I've been through many, many municipalities over the course of my 35-year career.
So if you don't mind, give us the 20-second background on your credentials.
Sure. I have a bachelor's of architecture from the New Jersey Institute of Technology, New Jersey School of Architecture. As I said, I'm practicing legally and profitably for the last 35 years. I also hold licenses in 14 other states along the East Coast, and I have testified before most of the other major boards throughout the state for projects like this in the industrial realm of architecture.
Terrific. Mr. Chairman, I'd ask that Mr. Dietz be accepted as a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey.
Okay, Mr. Jardine, you have any objections?
No objection.
Okay, no, neither do I. Proceed.
Hopefully this works.
Let me cut to the quick, Mr. Dietz. What is it going to look like?
Okay, can you see my screen or no?
Yes,
I can.
With the floor plan on it.
see a
Yep.
screen, yes.
We did a preliminary layout of both the interior and the exterior facade that was submitted previously. And we were fortunate enough to have the ability to meet with the mayor and John Tupon and the town planner. And they were very generously willing to share their comments and thoughts. And we have since upgraded our elevation and defined our interior office area to help the civil engineer to get his parking calculations correct. So what you see before you is my architectural sheet A1. I don't know if you want to call it an exhibit because it was part of my package set that was submitted for the application. Nothing has changed since our resubmission. And just to pick up on what Mr. Henry mentioned.
Hold on, Mr. Jardine, we don't need to mark this as anything. This is part of the his submission, correct?
Right, it's part of the package. It's up loaded on our website.
Correct.
Okay.
So as you see on the, we rotated the building a little bit to get where we think the office and the entrance to the building will be, kind of to the bottom of the page. But these are the drive-in and truck docks that Mr. Henry described that face towards the New Jersey Turnpike. And what they've been able to do is, when the mayor's main concern was to try to get this building on that viewport from the Turnpike to not look like a full truck distribution center. So Mr. Henry was able to reduce the number of truck bays. They've introduced a landscape area, and we've moved the office area from a little further to the middle of the building to the front of the building, which is basically kind of where it is today. And we're able to do a little special architectural features in the precast panels with our scoring, our multiple colors on the facade, which you'll see shortly. We will be putting back a staircase and the main entrance door and storefront in this location, similar to what it is today as you enter the office of the warehouse building. And then we've also bumped the parapet by about 4 or 5 feet taller than the parapet that's over the truck. So it stands out a little bit more. We're able to get more score lines and color in. We're able to get our 1 of 2 facade signs in this corner. And because we are a building that fronts on 2 streets, we believe we are allowed to have 2 facade tenant signs. So the first one would be proposed at the main entrance at this facade, and again on the Bryla side. Then what we did is to basically make this corner a little more special. We've carried the raised parapet around the corner. We've developed an office plan of 2,500 square feet for the use that's going to occupy this building. They're satisfied with that. And we brought that architectural finish all the way around back to this column line. Basically, if you see these column lines, they're pretty standard. They're pretty big bays. We are eliminating 1 column bay. That's how we are reducing the size of the building. So if you take this 34, I believe, or 40-foot dimension, that's what we're actually taking off the front of the existing building, which is the old office area. And that's where we're able to get our loading in, and we're reducing the building by basically 1 column bay. So we go back to the 2nd column bay, and that's where our new precast panels will be brought around. Bulk of the warehouse, because they're not manufacturing, they're more distribution, will have racking and shelving. They'll receive their product in either set of these 2 loading dock doors. And then once the product is ready to go out again, it will remove itself from the building, from either the front or the side set of doors. So it's pretty much going to be a wide open warehouse space with all the product, with the maximum height we can get, which isn't very tall, but we're going to do the best that we can. Small office area in the front, and then a shipping and receiving area facing the turnpike. If I can switch to our second sheet, A2, what you'll see and what we're able to do to enhance as per the request and the comments of the mayor is this entire frontage on the previous set of plans was all loading dock doors. So there was no way to hide the fact, even with landscaping, that this was looking like your standard truck distribution center. Working with the applicant and Dynamic Engineering, we were able to reduce the number of doors, push those further to the left. We have a little bit of a grade differential, bring in landscaping, which you'll see in my rendering in a minute, bring in the stairs and have people, we have storefront windows that'll act for each of the offices. And over the windows, we're proposing decorative architectural canopies, which act as a 3-dimensional feature on that facade to break it up. It also provides a little shade for the sun that would be shining down into these windows. And then another one at the front entrance door, which would identify that you've arrived. And then again, the name of the tenant, RL Foods sign on this facade. And what we do with precast is we like to add a lot of scoring to break up the monotony of the concrete panels. So we have horizontal and vertical scoring. We're proposing 2 colors, and you'll see this is an accent color that is actually one of the colors from R&L
Okay, hold on,
Foods
Mr. Smith.
logo.
Yes.
Are you guys gonna, I know coloring stuff, are you guys, as part, possible part of the condition to agree to the town to have input on color and scoring and finishes?
Yes, sir.
Final
Yes,
product?
sir.
before
Yes, sir.
it's-
You can
Okay.
put it as a condition. We've already run this by, but we're happy to run it by one
Okay.
more
I
time.
just
We
want to
think-
make it clear sometimes,
Yeah,
you know.
and what I was about to say next, if you
Hold
look.
on,
which-
Mr.
Hey,
Dupont, I have a
sorry, I'm
question.
sorry. Just real quick, Mr. Chairman, comment 6 of my letter calls exactly for that, right? All final
Okay, just
architectural
wanted
plans,
to
material boards, all for professional staff approval. I think Mr. Smith agreed to that.
Okay, I
Absolutely.
just wanted to make sure, that's all. Go ahead,
And as
continue, I'm
per
sorry.
the request of the mayor, which is not traditional, but we agreed to do it to carry that little more decorative and architectural feature that is over the office, we've agreed at a higher elevation to put several rows across those doors at the docks, the same decorative architectural canopies that are proposed. Again, we have the scoring there. We have the accent band at the top. So I think it's, as Mr. Henry mentioned, the building has certainly lived a long industrious life. And I think what we're adding between the precast panels in the front and the decorative stucco that we're proposing to go over the very worn and tattered, very dull brown brick, and it's not even real brick, We're going to face that with stucco. And what we do is we add the same vertical and horizontal scoring joints in the stucco to mimic what you would see in the precast panel. So even though it's a different product, you're going to have the same color scheme front and side. You're going to have the score lines that are going to match in dimension, both horizontally and vertically. And we're going to introduce the two colors. Again, the office area will have storefront windows for the office, decorative canopies, and the second facade sign. And then even when you get back into the warehouse area, this is the lowest part of the building. It's only 13-foot clear inside. So we couldn't put the extra windows in. But you can see when we get back up to the tallest part of the building, we've added clear story windows at the top to provide some natural light for the workers inside the warehouse. We put usually a couple or two between each of the column bays, and that just lets in some natural daylight into the warehouse so the workers can actually see what's going on outside. Dark, light, rainy, sunny, so on and so forth. But again, the key was getting to stucco and lining up all the joints to make it look like a brand new precast building. So
Terrific.
I'm going to jump to the rendering real quick. This might take me a second. I think it's going to look like a new building, and it's going to look like a 21st century, warehouse style building versus the old brick and all the other deteriorating materials that are on the facade, on the roof. All that's going to be newer. New roof, new windows, new surfaces on the building. I think it's going to look like a brand new structure. And if someone didn't know that was the building before, they think it was a brand new building. As Mr. Henry said, I think it's going to be a beautiful addition to the neighborhood. It's going to have the good looks from the Turnpike and from Bryla. And again, we got some very good comments again from the mayor and John Dupont and the planner. These were the extra canopies we added over the top. We have the extra landscaping. My renderer actually ended up getting sick. These stripes are not there. It's supposed to just be asphalt. She was not able to take those out. But with all the extra landscaping that Dynamic Engineering has proposed, you can see it actually almost covers the signage up here. This is the blue stripe, and that blue we're proposing is the actual blue that's in the logo for R&L Foods. So unless the town has a problem with that, that's why we chose that. The other two grays, we have a white and a medium gray, which are in the warm gray family, not the cool gray family. And we do a lot of warehouses, so we kind of stay pretty tight with a lot of the colors that we use. And the good thing is when the renderer does this for us, she actually uses a Sherwin-Williams based color palette. So if you like the colors, when I put my drawings together and the specs come out, I will have the actual specs and standards for the Sherwin-Williams colors that she's showing on the rendering. Therefore, when you put the rendering up the final product, they should look pretty much identical.
Chuck, if you were a paint salesman, I'd buy your paint. Honest.
Right. Yeah. This is not a commercial for Sherwin
Stop
Williams.
for the moment. Is this rendering in the package that the board has?
This is not. So this would have to be a new exhibit. This is not.
Please mark this as A1 in tonight's date, and we'll submit a hard copy to the board secretary. Correct, Mr. Dietz?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my point was sometimes people look at renderings as playful and they're not reality. All this landscaping is exactly what's on Dynamics landscape plan. The grading is what's on there. And then when these colors that they're actual real paint colors, I transpose them to my construction drawings. The final product should look exactly like this rendering when it's all said and done.
It's all said and good until, again, we still gotta have our input. So
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
okay.
But this incorporated many of the comments that the mayor and John and the planner brought up at our last meeting. So we were very
All right.
happy
So
to receive these.
Chuck, one last question for you. Talk about screening of any rooftop appurtenances.
Yes, because this is a warehouse, we really don't need a lot of equipment on the roof. We just need some heating for the sprinkler system to not freeze. So if they're up on the roof and they're not screened by the parapets, we will provide a third-party screening system so they will not be visible. And then the office area will have package units on the roof. The parapet does go up about 5 feet. So we're hoping that, again, they will be screened by the parapet. But when we get to that stage, if they're not, we agree, we'll again put the third-party screening system around those so they will not be visible from anywhere along the property in Minu and Bryla Street.
Terrific. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Dietz's testimony is complete. He's open for questions.
Okay, Mr. Dupont, do you have any questions for this witness?
No, I think Mr. Deach, addressed everything and we'll see those materials and sample boards, so.
Okay, Mr. John, you're still with us?
I'm here, and I do
You have
have
any
several questions. Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Mr. Dietz, this office area that's depicted on the floor plan, is that scaled to 2,500 square feet?
Yes.
Okay, that does. Okay. So I see that there's no interconnection between the office and the warehouse space. Are you providing restrooms for the warehouse workers?
Yes, what we are just working with is getting a finalized racking plan. And once we have that racking plan, we'll be able to coordinate. There will be a doorway, obviously, leading from the office area back into the warehouse. But we haven't finalized the racking plan. It's due to me any day now. Then we'll upgrade the office to at least have some access between the two. And we didn't consider bathrooms in the warehouse to be additional office space because it's the same work. The only one using it would be the warehouse people.
So they're not. I'm just, again, looking at how the space is allocated.
Yes.
And one more question. So the area to call it the northwest of the office space, there seems to be 2 bays of an enclosed area with double man door, 2 single man doors going into the warehouse. What's the intention of that space?
Pull that back up again. There we go, 311. There we go. So where are you speaking?
Just to call it the northwest, there's a wall kind of enclosing some space immediately adjacent to the office space.
That's an existing masonry wall that's there today. But since we've had our discussions, we brought our structural engineer out, we've found that that wall is not a bearing wall. That wall will probably get removed from what they are proposing in this general vicinity for say 3 to 3.5 bays for the depth of the building. They will have a cooler that will be built inside the space for their product. And it'll probably line up. So they might take this wall down, they might not. Then they'll build a cooler around it, say in this space, and that will be their internal cooler for their product that has to be refrigerated.
So the warehouse will still store both perishable and non-perishable goods. Is that correct?
Correct.
So Mr. Henry testified that trash will be stored in the interior of the warehouse near a loading area. Can you
That would be over in this area by the 4 dock doors that are existing where we're expanding.
Okay. And will that be an enclosed area?
Yeah, we'll probably build a room around it to enclose it so that we can get it out through these doors.
Okay. Do you have any idea how
Food
often?
products, the biggest thing you have is really any boxes that you might have that the product come in. The rest is
Well,
all
that and
perishable,
spoiled
get rid of
product.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, spoiled product is what I'm concerned about. So, you
Yeah.
know how the trash will be picked up, or what?
That I don't know. I'd have to talk to Mr. Henry, or we would obviously follow any state standards for the health code for perishable products. We will have that all put in place at the time.
Yeah.
But
Again,
the
because it
interior
is.
plan hasn't been fully developed yet. That's something we're still working on, finalizing everything other than the office area.
Well,
Getting that
Mr.
all
Smith,
finalized.
Mr. Smith, your client would be okay to comply when the plan is final with any kind of findings or any kind of questions or any kind of stuff that we have.
Mr.
Additional
Chairman,
input.
absolutely. And what guides all of this is the New Jersey Uniform Construction Code. We have to provide plans to your building department. They make sure that we're complying with the codes. And I don't want to do a double entendre, but everything we're going to do is going to be kosher.
Yeah, Mr.
And
Smith, I'm only
the
concerned.
health standards for perishable. Those will
Okay.
be 2
Yeah,
codes that we'll
And
really
I am
follow.
concerned because there are perishable goods and yeah, there are food storage. So.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that very much take care of it for you, Mr. Janu?
That's everything for me. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Jardine, do you have anything?
Chairman, I just had one clarification as to Exhibit A1. What is the vantage from there?
I can barely hear you, Mr. Jardine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a question about Exhibit A1. Can you just tell me the vantage point of that? Which street is that taken from?
Almost at the corner of Bryla and Minu.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, does any board members have any questions for this witness? Okay,
No.
Mr. Smith, proceed. If you have a next witness.
Last witness, Mr. Chairman, our planner, Justin Osceola. I asked her to be called and sworn so they can give testimony.
How do I stop sharing?
Okay, Mr. Okay, can we swear him in, please?
Yes.
Is there
Sir,
any-
you swear the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Osceola, for the record, by whom are you employed and in what capacity?
Phone Consulting Group. I'm a partner.
All right, and have you ever been accepted by this board previously?
I have not. I have worked on a few projects in Carteret, but I haven't testified in front of the board.
So would you give the board the benefit of your credentials?
Absolutely. I am a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey. I've been licensed since 2008. I have a master's in city and regional planning from Rutgers University. I have appeared at hundreds of boards throughout the state of New Jersey. I guess, importantly to this type of application, I provided testimony on matters like this on countless occasions, and my license is valid and current.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'd ask that Mr. Osceola be accepted as a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey.
Okay, Mr. Jardine, you have any objections?
No objection, Chairman.
Thank
Okay,
you.
neither do I.
All right.
Proceed.
Good, and I'll get out of your way, Mr. Osceola. From the point of view of the municipal land use law, would you give the board potential justification for the granting of the variances and waivers we've requested?
Yes, certainly. So as the board is aware, there are certain proofs for bulk variances that must be placed on the record for the board to take action. In this instance, of course, this is a permitted use in the LI zone. There are a number of variances for conditions on the site that currently exist, in addition to a few new variances as well. The standard of proof for bulk variances is either the C1 or the C2 criteria. Just very briefly, because the board is well aware of those standards, the C1 is typically known as the hardship variance. What is it about this specific property that is driving the need for these variances, whether existing or newly created? And number two, the C2 variance is the flexible C. And that's as showing that the benefits of granting the variance do outweigh the detriments. Also, known as a better zoning alternative. I think, in my professional opinion, this is a classic C1 and also a classic C2. Now, why is it a classic C1? Well, as Mr. Henry had testified, this building has been on the site since sometime in the 50s. It's there. It's not moving, of course. It also has frontage on two roadways. So by virtue of the fact of having the existing building on the site and also frontage on two roadways, you have two front yards. So there's nothing that can really be done in this situation other than making improvements to the site, working with what you have. I think as Mr. Henry had gone through each variance line by line, certainly these variances, whether as currently existing or proposed, are all driven by the fact that the building exists on the site and there are two frontages. We can only really work with what we have. Now, with that said, under the C2 criteria, Mr. Henry and the other witnesses had provided testimony on the various improvements on the site that are proposed. I think certainly from a planning standpoint, when you have a site like this, which is permitted in the LI zone, which also has visibility on the turnpike, it's really incumbent on the applicant to provide a substantial upgrade to the property. And as you heard from Mr. Dietz, I mean, the aesthetics that are being, proposed are extensive. It's going to be a substantial upgrade over, a building, quite frankly, that is tired. It's been here since the 50s. I think importantly, from a planning standpoint, there is a reduction in size of the building, as Mr. Henry had testified. Certainly there's sufficient space on the site to accommodate the proposal. I think, as Mr. Henry had testified, kind of pulling in the areas on the front yard setbacks and trying to increase those buffers with landscaping. Certainly that's a substantial improvement over the current condition. I think the reduction of the impervious coverage and the building coverage, also two planning benefits, two land use benefits that are not just going to benefit the site itself, but will also benefit the surrounding sites. I think there are multiple purposes of zoning that are advanced with this application. The state land use law requires that the grant of a variance, there must be at least one purpose of zoning that's advanced. I certainly think there are more than one. I think number one, criteria A, certainly what's proposed in this application is going to enhance the general welfare. I think that is clear from not just my testimony, but the testimony of the other experts. I think criteria G is advanced. There's sufficient space, of course, with this application to accommodate this use, which is existing. The reduction in the building size, the reduction of the impervious coverage, and the reduction of the building coverage, the increase of landscaping, and the various other improvements. Certainly, this site, and as Mr. Savage had testified too, the circulation, will work on the site. So clearly, there's sufficient space. The visual environment, that's criteria I. Certainly, it's desirable, good civic design, as you heard from our architect. Obviously, an extreme enhancement over the current condition, and it's quite frankly the use of this land is efficient, and that's criteria M. By reorganizing the site, by enhancing the site, is going to make for a better condition, not just for the site, but also the surrounding properties. So I think, all of those are benefits under the positive criteria that the board can use to justify these variances and grant the approval. And lastly, under the negative criteria, in my professional opinion, there is no substantial detriment to the public good in concert with this application. I think it is clear that the number of improvements that are proposed in this application do outweigh any detriments. And quite frankly, with all of the enhancements on the site, in my professional opinion as a planner, I don't see any detriments. And lastly, there's no impairment to the zone plan and the zoning ordinance of the Borough of Carteret. This is a permitted use in the LI zone, and the purpose, and one of the purposes of the zoning ordinance speaks to the general welfare of the community. And if the board so choose to grant the approval on this application, certainly the general welfare will be promoted to this application. All in all, the benefits, certainly it's a better zoning alternative, what's proposed this evening, and they do outweigh the detriments, which, if any, do not rise to the level of being substantial.
Thank you, Mr. Osceola. Mr. Osceola is available for questions.
Okay, Mr. Dupont, you have any questions for this witness?
No, nothing.
Mr. Jardine, do you have any questions?
I do not, Chairman.
Okay, and Mr. Jana, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, does anybody from any board members have any questions for this witness?
No questions.
All right, here. Okay, hearing none. Okay, Mr. Smith, proceed.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes our case. We think this is a great use for Carteret, a good rehabilitation of the property, and some brand new jobs and a better rateable than you have now.
And Chairman, can I get one clarification from
Sure.
Mr. Smith on the cross access? Is there anything that's recorded or needs to be recorded with respect to that?
We think not, but I think the suggestion from Mr. Janu and Mr. Dupont was that we contact the neighbor and see if the neighbor would like to see a slight modification, which theoretically would be better for larger trucks, which, welcome to the 21st century. And we're willing to make that modification, and we would re-record the cross-access easement with the new description if they want it. If not, we're happy to leave everything in its current place, and we're happy to live with that as a condition, that we would check with them to make sure that they're satisfied with the existing or they want the modified. And for that matter, if you'd like us to submit the easement to you for review, we're happy to do that as well. We just don't know whether they're going to want it or not.
Right. I think I would like to see the easement. I don't know that the condition
Not a
would be
problem.
anything other than, to check with the neighbor, but yeah. So we're not saying that it's a condition of approval to get a new easement or something, but only to check that the easement is still
Right. Right. And that we're, with either the town recommendation or the neighbor's request, we're happy to do that minor modification.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, no problem. Mr. Smith, does that conclude your testimony?
That does conclude our case, Chairman.
Okay, before I open up to the public, does any of the board members have any final questions before I open up to the public?
No.
Okay, hearing none, any motion to open to the public?
It is so moved.
Motion
Who
to
seconds
open.
it? Okay, Mr. All right, anybody in public have any comments or questions for this case, PB 2401 R&L Foods Distributor LLC? Please come forward and or unmute your phones by doing *5. Correct, Mr. Diaz?
Mr. Chairman, I apologize for the confusion. I thought we were using one of the other teleconference numbers. This is all going through
okay.
WebEx, so it's fine.
Okay, no problem. Just want to make sure the public has their fair say.
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay, one more time. Does anybody in the public have comments or questions on this case, PB 2401 R&L Foods Distributors LLC?
Hearing
Mr.
none.
Okay, hearing none, move to close. Okay.
Motion to close to the public.
Okay, then Mr. Diaz, motion, and Mr. Mr. Brown seconded. Okay, Mr. Jardine, can you form a motion for us to vote on, please?
I don't know if the board's pleasure is to approve the application.
Excuse me, I can't hear you, Mr. Jardine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Having that problem. Is that better at all?
Yes, right now it is, yes.
All right. Sorry about that. So it's the board's pleasure if it's going to approve or deny the application. If it votes to approve the application, the approval would be with all the conditions that are set forth in both Mr. DuPont's March 26, 2024 memorandum that the applicant has already agreed to comply with, and as well Mr. Janu's Beacon Planning report of that same date, March 26th. In addition to that, there would be 3 additional conditions that were agreed to by the applicant this evening. One is to provide the one EV ready space on the site. Second is to comply with the garbage requirements of the borough and the state construction code, which of course the applicant has to do anyway. And then the third, I discussed with Mr. Smith, the cross-access agreement and checking with the neighbor to see if that needs to be modified in any way, shape, or form. You've heard from 4 witnesses tonight, Mr. Henry, the engineer, Mr. Savage, the traffic engineer, Mr. DC architect, and Mr. Osceola, the planner. And Mr. Osceola has set forth the reasons under the flexible C2 test, as well as a C1 analysis. And if you credit these experts, you can approve the application based upon the conditions set forth in the Beacon Planning and DuPont memoranda, as well as 3 additional conditions that we saw tonight. So we would need a motion to approve with those conditions.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
It is so moved.
Who seconds it?
Second.
David Broderick seconds it. Hold the board, please.
Agliata,
Yes.
Brown. Brown. Diaz,
Yes.
Yes.
Belowarchuk,
Yes.
Giuliano,
Yes.
DuPont.
Yes.
It's been approved.
Lauren, you got Mr. Brown's yes, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I could be
Yes.
heard, we have been working with the borough for many months to get this plan at the level of responsiveness that the borough wanted. It would be very helpful if the board would consider a memorialized resolution tonight so that we can publish, so that the 45-day appeal period can get done, and so that we can ultimately get into the field and start making these renovations. We previously asked Mr. Jardim if that was a possibility. I don't know if it is possible, but we'd like to make the request.
And
Mr. Jardine, are you prepared? Are we prepared for this today?
yes, Chairman, I have been working with Mr. Smith's office, and I have been sort of pre-planning the resolution and have been furiously typing away. I did just send a draft of the resolution to the full board for its consideration. I think it adequately and accurately reflects what has occurred this evening. But obviously it's up to the board as to whether they believe that to be the case and want to memorialize this evening.
Okay, I'm comfortable with it. Do I have a motion to memorialize?
Motion to memorialize.
Okay, hold
Second.
the board, please. Hold the board, please.
Agliata,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Belowarchuk,
Yes.
Giuliano,
Yes.
DuPont.
Yes.
It's been approved.
Thank you,
thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman and members. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Congratulations. Okay, our final case,
Thank you.
PB 2402, Jabal Crete, 80 Heel Street. Please come forward.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Who is representing you?
This is Mr. Fletcher.
Okay. Does he need an attorney, Mr. Jardine?
No attorney.
No, this is an individual. So no attorney is required.
Okay, if you wish to proceed, go ahead. All right, so who's taking the lead on this?
I could give a quick rundown, and then Mr. Fletcher could take the lead after that, I guess, for the more specific details.
Okay, if you're gonna give testimony, does he have to appear, Mr. Jardine, on screen to give
He does.
testimony, or so now? I think you have to appear.
Sure, let me just turn that on. Okay.
And let me, okay. Mr. Saini?
Yes.
Will you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess present your application.
Sure. So I'm the owner for 80 Hewitt Street in Carteret. This is a 75 by 100 lot. We are looking to subdivide it. There already is a current existing property on there. And the proposed building that we're looking to build next to that one would be about 3,100 square feet. And we think this is a great opportunity for the neighborhood just to improve the property. We want to also add sidewalk. We will also be adding a driveway to the back, so that'll help with the parking situation around the neighborhood. And yeah, I guess Mr. Fletcher could take the lead on the more specific details from there.
Okay, hopefully you got some good details, Mr. Fletcher.
Do my best.
Okay, going to swear him in, please?
Yes, Mr. Fletcher, will you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and
Yes, I do.
Okay. Proceed, Mr. Fletcher.
Yes. Thank you.
Sorry, tell us about your little qualifications before you proceed and
Certainly. I'm principal of Fletcher Engineering and have been for 32 years. I'm a licensed professional engineer and planner in the state of New Jersey. My licenses are current. I've appeared in front of numerous planning and zoning boards in New Jersey. I've been in front of Carteret board on a regular occasion, and I've been recognized as an expert in both fields numerous times.
okay. Your license, you said it's in good standing currently, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Jordy, you have any
Objection.
objections?
No objection.
Okay, proceed,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Fletcher.
Yes, the subject property commonly known as 80 Heald Street. It's a corner property, the corner of Heald and Burke Street. It has dimensions 75 feet wide, 100 feet deep. It is currently improved with a small 2-story frame, 2.5-story frame dwelling, which is located very close to the intersection. The property is in the R25 zone. The applicant proposes to subdivide, create a vacant lot on the left side, north side of the property, and on that lot create construct a new 2-story single-family dwelling. The application requires a number of variances. Firstly, the lot area for the proposed new lot. The requirement for a single lot in the R25 zone is 5,000 square feet. We're proposing 4,350. With regards to the existing home, that will be 3,150. The dimensions of those two lots would be the corner lot 31.5 feet by 100 feet deep. The interior lot, excuse me, with the new home would be 43.5 by 100 feet deep. There is two existing nonconformities for the existing home. Front yard setback to Heald Street is 9.7 feet, which is existing. The front yard setback to Burke Street is 3.0 feet. Again, that is existing. Required front yard setback in this zone is 15 feet. There's the last variance requested, and that is for density for the corner lot. The allowed density in the R25 zone is 12 units per acre. Although the interior lot complies at 10 units an acre, the corner lot is at 13.8 units per acre, which I believe is a de minimis difference. I did do an analysis of the neighborhood in 200 and 300 feet, and I prepared an exhibit based on the tax maps. And I'm hoping Lauren or Mr. Dubon might be able to share that. I'm talking to you on my phone. I don't have the ability to share an exhibit. It was transmitted earlier today. Lauren, is that possible? Otherwise,
Hold on.
The exhibit was uploaded onto the website.
okay.
Maybe Mr. Jardine can share a screen.
Tom, do you see it there?
Yeah, I have it on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, just hopefully next time, Mr. Be a little better prepared.
I apologize.
Okay, there you go.
Very good. Thank you. As I mentioned, this is a a copy of the Carteret Borough tax map. The subject property is highlighted in blue. I've indicated all the properties within the surrounding 200 and 300-foot area that are non-conforming. And that includes lots that are undersized for single families, for example, 37.5 by 100, and also lots that are perhaps conforming for a single family, but they have 2 families and 4 families and 3 families, and those are indicated by the numerals 2, 3, 4, etc. So all the orange ones are the non-conforming lots. The number of properties within 200 feet is 35. Of those, 23 or 66% are non-conforming, leaving 12 or 34% to be conforming. Within the 300-foot radius, there's a total of 56 properties. Of those, 29 are non-conforming, or 52%, and 27 or 48% are conforming. And I introduced this exhibit to indicate to the board that the applicant's proposal is not inconsistent, and in fact is very consistent with the neighborhood pattern of development. I would also mention that although we are requesting a density variance for the one lot, if you look at the overall parcel, which is 75 by 100 square feet in the R25 zone, we're allowed a 2-family home on a 65 by 100 lot. We're proposing essentially 2 homes on a 75 by 100 foot lot. But we're also proposing fee simple ownership, which brings with it the pride of home ownership. And we recognize that home owner occupied properties tend to have a better maintenance than rental occupied properties. I have had a chance to review Mr. DuPont's memorandum of March the 18th.
Okay.
Number of requests, we will comply with them all. And with regards to number 4, there was a typo indicating we were proposing 4 parking spaces, when indeed there's only 2 parking spaces proposed. We will correct the plan, but we are still complying with off-street parking for the RSIS standards. Existing parking, there is a small garage on the property, which is never used, frankly. It's only set back a couple of feet from the property, from the right-of-way line. That will be demolished. There's going to be new driveway off of Burke Street that will accommodate the existing home, and there'll be 2 off-street parking spaces there. For the new home, have a single-car garage and a driveway, providing the 2 off-street parking spaces that are required.
Okay, Mr. Fletcher, couple of quick questions here.
Certainly.
Number 1, is this a single family house you said being proposed, or 2-family?
No, single family.
Does it have a basement? Is it on slab?
It's proposed to have a basement,
What's the height of the basement?
9 feet.
Is there an external entrance to the basement?
There is not. It's strictly for use of the homeowner with an interior stair, no outside access.
Okay, because you understand our position with basement heights, correct?
I understand the board's concern and the borough's concern that second dwelling units might be created, and you're trying to avoid that. And that's certainly not the intention of this applicant.
Well,
But
it's never the intention of the applicant, but if the person sells it, there's a new person that moves in, it's never the intention of the applicant, but the home is sold. We have no say over that, the new homeowner.
Understood. I'm sure the applicant is agreeable to whatever conditions you would request.
Well, our standards, correct, Mr. Dupont, 6'9"?
Mr. Chairman, if you want it to be a basement where there could be no partition walls, according to the building
Right.
code, 6'11".
6'11".
Yep.
So will you agree to be no higher than 6'11"?
I would ask the applicant to answer that, please.
Yes, we're okay with that. Because I'm actually building this house to live there myself, so
I understand, but you understand our concerns.
I do.
Okay, continue, Mr. Fletcher.
Yes, and clearly we will restrict the building height, the basement ceiling height level, and that'll be shown on revised plans. I think the board can grant this under the flexible C2 criteria for bulk variances. The project will bring a new aesthetically pleasing home to the neighborhood. It will provide adequate off-street parking spaces. It will bring a property that's frankly oversized for the neighborhood into more conformity with the neighborhood. And I don't believe that there will be any significant detriment to the neighborhood, the public good, the zone plan or the master plan of the borough of Carteret. And clearly the benefits outweigh the detriments. For those reasons, I would request that the board approve this application.
Okay, Mr. Dupont, do you have any concerns about this application? Mr. Santi, I would prefer if you can, since you're going to give your own testimony, to stay engaged and stay so we can see you.
There you go.
Thank you.
And
All right,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Dupont.
I do have a couple questions for Mr. Fletcher.
Sure.
So, Mr. Fletcher, I like in the plans that you're collecting all the roof leaders from all four corners and bringing it to the front in bubblers. That's good. I do still want those swales on both sides of that property, though, right?
Agreed. Absolutely.
I want that water not to get to adjacent properties.
There's not a lot of water, but whatever water is between the houses, we want it to go to the front.
Very good. And two, you talked in your planning testimony, the homes within 300 feet, that were non-compliant, very high numbers. Were they non-compliant for width and area both, or a combination thereof?
Well, the homes that are highlighted without any numbers in them are undersized by lot and area.
Okay.
The ones that have numbers in them, they're non-compliant because they may be on a conforming single-family lot, but it's a two-family on a undersized lot. So there's a combination of different reasons. But again, as I pointed out earlier, our overall density is not exceeding what's allowed in the R25 zone. And it's, I believe, a distinct advantage to have fee simple ownership as opposed to a two-family home built there.
I understand. Thank you. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Jardine, do you have any questions?
Well, I do just want to hear from Mr. Fletcher with respect to, so you're looking to justify the bulk variances under the flexible C2 test. So the density variance, that would be a D5 variance?
Well, I would respectfully suggest that in the MLUL, under the D variances, it exempts minor subdivisions and single-family homes. It's not a D variance for a minor subdivision, only for a minor subdivision or multifamily or site plans.
Yeah, I think you in the application you have the C variance checked off and subdivision checked off. So in other words, you're you're using the same proofs for that you used for the bulk variances for the density variance.
That's correct. Yeah, our position is that it is not a D variance.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, just a quick question on the current house that's there now. Has off-street parking, which is the lot you're planning on subdividing, correct?
Well, yes and no. There's a garage there, but it's. I'll let the applicant chime in, but
Well,
it's
you're saying the garage is going to be demolished.
correct.
Okay, so where's the parking for the current house going to be?
Oh, there's a new driveway proposed off a double wide driveway off Burke Street in the backyard.
Backyard. Okay.
We'll be providing 2 spaces.
Okay. And how many spaces for the new house?
New house will have
Again?
2 off-street spots.
2 off-street and no driveway parking with a garage?
Yeah. Well, the proposed house will have a full garage and a driveway in front of it.
Okay.
20 feet long, and that'll provide 2 spaces. The
Okay.
existing home will have 2 on-site driveway spaces with access from Burke Street.
Okay. All right. Again, Mr. Journey, did you have no more questions, correct, from you?
No more questions, no. Chairman.
Mr. Dupont, no more questions from you?
No, thank you.
Does the board members have any questions? Okay, hearing enough from the board members, I need a motion to open to the public.
Motion to open to the public.
Seconds it? Okay. Does anybody in public have any comments or questions on PB 2402 80 Heel Street? Please come forward. Mr. Host, is it? Go ahead.
I noticed new landlord already cleaned around
Hold
this.
on. Can you,
Hello?
if you get a question, can you please, the name and address for the record, please?
My name is Kuldeep Kelly. I'm from 72 Hill Street.
Okay, what's your comment or question?
Yeah, I just want to say I noticed new landlord already cleaned around this property, and I would like to see improvement in this neighborhood. I have no objections at all.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, does anybody else in the public have any comments or questions on this case, on this application?
Yes, hi. My name is Bill Mary Lopez.
Okay, address? You still there? Can we have address for the record, please?
Are you able to hear me?
Now I can, yes. Can we
Yes,
start
my name
again? Name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Bill Mary Lopez. I'm at 89 Hill Street.
Okay,
Yeah, I just
ahead.
wanted to say that I also believe that the new building would if anything improve our block and improve our area.
Okay, thank you so much for your comments. Does anybody else in the public have any comments or questions on this case? Okay. Hearing no more comments or questions, I need a motion to close to the public.
It is so moved.
Motion to close to the public.
Second. Okay. All right, Mr. Jardine, can you please form a motion for us to vote on it, please?
Sure. So this is a minor subdivision application involving a property in the R25 zone. The applicant is seeking to subdivide the property. In order to do that, is several bulk variances as well as a density variance. There's a variance with respect to the lot area on the existing lot. There's a variance with respect to lot width, front yard setback, and front yard setback both on Heald Street and on Burke Street. And with respect to the newly created lot, there is a lot area variance and a lot width variance. And again, as I said, the maximum density is exceeded here. Maximum density of per acre is 12 units, and this ends up with 13.8 units. So the applicant has provided his own testimony and the testimony of Mr. Fletcher, who, as you guys know, is a professional planner and a professional engineer. And he has set forth the reasons why he believes under the flexible C2 analysis, this minor subdivision application can be approved. So if the board credits his testimony, it can approve the application. I believe.
And did
Mr.
Jerry, maybe I I didn't hear it. He agreed to the basement height, right? In the
Correct. The basement height being 6'8", Chairman?
6'11", I think. No higher than 6'11".
No higher than 6'11", and and the other conditions are set forth in Mr. DuPont's memorandum on this. So an approval would be a yay vote. We'd need a motion and a second to either approve or deny the application.
I need a motion to approve.
It is so moved.
Okay, poll the board, please.
Tagliata,
Yes.
Brown, Brown, Diaz.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I heard Brown say yes. Diaz said yes. Bell Barchak,
Yes.
Giuliano,
Yes.
DuPont.
Yes.
Been approved.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, Mr. Jardine, do we have any business to discuss?
No further business, Chairman.
Okay, hearing none. Any motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Hey, everybody have a good Easter, and see you next month.
Take care. Good night.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Easter. Happy
Bye-bye.
Easter, everybody. Bye, Lauren.
Bye.
Bye.